Greetings, fellow masters, and welcome to episode 3 of Ballin on a Budget. Today we are going to be talking about Paracelsus Von Hohenheim.
Hey master. I am math scientist. It's so cool. Son of a bitch. Hi. 何ですか?
No, not that Hohenheim. Today we are going to be talking about the 3-star caster clocking in an attack of 6,711 as well as an HP of 9,506. His max attack does put him very squarely in the middle of the pack as it comes to 3-star casters. His HP is nothing to brag about either. His 3 arts, 1 quick, 1 buster is a very typical caster loadout. You have 2 hits on your quick card, 2 on your arts card, and 1 on your buster card. 3 hits on the extra attack, and his noble phantasm hits 3 times. His NP gain on attack is 0.55%. On defense is 3%, which is fairly typical. He has a star weight of 50%, a star rate of 10.8, which isn't the worst. His skills include rapid casting A, greatly increasing his NP gauge. At level 1, this is 55%. At rank 10, we are looking at 80% increase. Now his second skill, Elemental A+, this increases arts cards effectiveness of all allies for 3 turns. At rank 1, that is 10%. At rank 10, this is 20%. Now, taking a look at the last one, Philosopher's Stone A, this applies guts for 1 time for 3 turns. Now, this is a targetable guts, which is very rare. The charge time on this, however, is quite long. It's 10 turns at rank 1 through 5. It reduces to 9 turns at rank 6, and then 8 turns at rank 10. Now, leveling up your skill priority, I would go Rapid Casting A. The reason why is because you will want to get to that 70% increase as soon as possible. Now, you can take this the rest of the way and go to 80% for reasons, but I would stick to 70% because even at base, Dragon's Meridian will get you all the way where you need to go. Now, the second one that I would go with would be Elemental A, and that is because you will want to be doing more damage with your arts cards, so this just benefits you even more. Now, the last one I would take is Philosopher's Stone. You don't get a ton extra out of it. It's basically a targetable survivability skill that will help increase your group's survivability as well as your own if needed. The cooldown is very, very long, and investing in this to get all the way to rank 10 is quite an endeavor, so I would leave this one until last. He does come with Item Construction EX, which increases his debuff success rate by 12%, as well as Territory Creation A, which increases his arts card effectiveness by 10%. Now, Territory Creation A is good because it will help him out with his heavy arts-based deck, as well as arts-based Noble Phantasm. His Noble Phantasm, Sword of Paracelsus, Magic Sword of the Elementalist, is a medium damage Noble Phantasm that hits all enemies. The overcharge effect decreases attack for 3 turns. At Noble Phantasm rank 1, we're looking at 300% damage, and at rank 5, it is 500% damage. After his interlude quest, it will go from 400 to 600, and the overcharge effect will stay the same. We're looking at a 10% decrease in attack at overcharge 1, all the way up to 30% at overcharge 5. Now, one of the nice things about this is that it is an arts-based AoE Noble Phantasm, which in the 1 to 3 star range is actually kind of rare. For the most part, your arts-based Noble Phantasms are either a buff or a debuff, or they are single target. So this does bring a little bit of rarity to this servant. Now, it is kind of weak for an AoE Noble Phantasm. It does get a little bit better after the interlude quest, but it does come with that attack down, which also helps increase your sustainability. Now, moving on to the craft essence suggestions, this is going to be very similar to some of my other low star craft essence suggestions. You have Sorcery Ore for the increase in NP gain. You do have Clock Tower for the increase in NP gauge. You do have have Dragon's Meridian for the starting NP gauge to help you get that Noble Phantasm off faster or get higher into the overcharge range. You also have things like Black Keys for the standard arts up, which will help offset his pretty abysmal overall damage, as well as help increase the damage from the Noble Phantasm. If you were lucky enough to play during the Halloween event, I would suggest things like Halloween Princess. If you played during the Fate Zero event, his rightful place would be fantastic, as it helps with the starting NP gauge, as well as providing stars for the rest of the team. So this would fit very well with people like Hans to further boost the star gen for the rest of your team, which Robin Hood would very, very much like. Moving on to the Ascension and skill materials, the Ascension mats are not fairly unreasonable. You're looking at 5 pages, 11 homunculus babies, 7 gears, and 24 bones to get him max ascended. However, when looking at the skill materials, this is where it's going to be a little bit pricey to level him up. You are looking at 11 gears, you're looking at 11 pages, you are looking at 32 void dust and 48 bones per skill. Now, I understand that void dust and bones are not the hardest thing in the game to farm. However, the vast amount of them that you need, this is a little bit of an investment. So you may not want to take a lot of his skills past level 7 or 8. I would typically stop at 8 because the investment from going to 8 to 9 is quite expensive. Going from 6 to 7 and 7 to 8 is not too terrible, but going from 8 to 9 is quite a bit of resources. So overall, my opinion on Paracelsus Von Hohenheim is that I think that he fits in very well in a bunch of different roles. He's not the best at his role. However, the fact that he brings an AoE arts Noble Phantasm is very rare currently for low star servants. He does have a fairly okay 3-turn party-wide arts buff. He does have a targetable guts, which is very rare. Now, the one thing that I will say is that his skill set, when maxed out, does have a very long cooldown. He does have a low base attack and no real strong way to increase the damage that he puts out. His AoE Noble Phantasm, while it is very lackluster, like I said, it is very rare. He does fit in very well on low star arts teams so that you can build arts chains, increasing the party's overall Noble Phantasm gain. While it is a lot of times more advisable to invest in single targets such as Robin Hood or Media, I feel that the inclusion of the AoE Noble Phantasm, as well as the targetable guts and party-wide art buff, is a benefit to your team, not to mention that he can easily access his Noble Phantasm thanks to his instant NP charge from rapid casting. Teaming him up with people like Mozart, Hans, Robin Hood, even Media will benefit you when building a low star arts team. So as always, guys, if you did like this, you can help me out by hitting that subscribe button, as well as the bell notification. I would like to give a huge shout out to all of the Patreons that help support the channel. If you would like to become one of them, there is a link down below in the description. And as always, guys, I hope that you found this enjoyable as well as informative, and I will catch you in the next episode of Ballin' on a Budget. Take it easy. Peace.